Morning, everybody. With field work winding down for the year, honestly, I don't know if we'll do any more field work till next spring and kind of a better idea on our moisture outlook. I'm starting to get a lot more cattle videos going, as you guys have noticed from the last couple. Thought a good one today would be go through our feed ration. So we've got distillers hiding around the corner, our hay, corn, supplement, wheat silage, feed silage, corn silage. So I thought we'd go through the whole thing, show you guys each ingredient individually, talk a little bit about each one, get some good video of mixing things up. That truck is sitting there waiting on the big chief. He's finishing emptying the other one. Basically, I'm just sitting here in the loader filling the two trucks, and he'll go feed one while I fill the other. So let's see what kind of footage we can get for you guys. All right, before I go through all the ration ingredients, we use a nutritionist who comes out and samples everything and gives us the best recommendation he can to get the needed feed value to the cattle to maximize their output. So first up, alfalfa, or hay. As you saw in the grinding video yesterday, it's a mix of alfalfa, feed, and corn, a few corn stalk bales to fill this entire pit. Next ingredient in the ration, corn. So we'll take just shelled corn, run it through our roller mill to crack all them kernels, break them into pieces. Cattle cannot digest whole kernels of corn. The kernel is too hard, stomach can't break it down. So you run it through a roller mill, open it up, let their stomachs do what they're supposed to do, digest that as much as possible. All right, next ingredient. This is a supplement we get from a local company here in town. It's got a lot of micronutrients, few macros. Really been helping. We started using this a couple years ago. Noticed an immediate change in our cattle. Gaining better, all around better health. Very much like that. Next ingredient, wet distillers. So I'm sure everyone's heard of ethanol by now. The fact that they're using corn to make fuel. This is the byproduct. This is what's left of the corn after it goes through that whole process. Now my hand is going to smell all day. So if you ever hear people that argue against ethanol saying we're using food for fuel, they're pushing a false narrative. That corn is not destined for human consumption. That corn is destined for animal consumption. Nobody eats field corn. You eat sweet corn. Different brand, different variety, all that stuff. That corn isn't being wasted either. As you can see, the byproduct. Very, very high protein source for cattle. Works great. We love it. Moving on. All right, now we got our 3 different types of silage. This is wheat silage. So when wheat is in the soft dough stage, barely forming that kernel, is when we want to harvest this. We got this little pile here because when it comes out of the pit, it wants to come out pretty chunky. You can see the chunks. So we like to mix it a couple of times. One possible solution is to use a silage defacer, which is just basically a, I'll call it some similar, it's kind of like a grinder, and it just grinds that face off. It just rotates real fast, peels that face off into small pieces. They work great. Problem is they cost money, and it's just another step in the process. For us, it works fine just to break it up a little bit the day before. Let it set, and then as you feed it, those clumps break up. Okay, silage number 2, feed silage. You guys saw this process, so I don't need to explain that. Very good nutrition value. Not as high as corn, but it's comparable. It's a lot cheaper, and this year it was a lot more abundant. So this is our primary silage this year. And last but certainly not least, corn silage. Very, very good feed value. There's, okay, so, oh, I just dropped it. People have asked why we don't use kernel processors. Most of the kernels are, that one's got a split in it right there. And that one, the end is broke off. The way we harvest our corn silage at 68% moisture instead of 65%, you get a lot better grinding effect on that corn. You get a lot more kernels to split, thus reducing the need for a kernel processor, not completely eliminating it, but reducing the need for it, which makes us a lot more fuel efficient at harvest, a lot more acre efficient because we can go a lot faster, and it feeds out almost exactly the same. We've done a few little samples here and there for what it costs time-wise and money-wise to run a kernel processor. We do not see the benefit in the bunk. Alright, last thing before I go. Cat 924K. This is the workhorse of the feed crew. Got a, I think it's a 3.5 yard bucket on the front. It's pretty nice. It'll hold about 1,200 pounds of hay, several thousand pounds of silage. So you get around pretty quick with this thing. I'm not going to go into this video on why we all prefer the old one, the old 924G from the grinder video over this one. That's something for another video. Uncle Kenny drives this one predominantly because he's the one that fell in love with it. He's the one that usually loads feed trucks. But this looks like a good place to wrap up the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Talk to you guys in the next video.